Welcome to our journey through 1,000 years of history, the rise and fall of kingdoms, the clash of swords, the building of cathedrals, and the shaping of the world we know today. This is medieval Europe in 2 hours, but here, we'll give you the big picture in just one video. The story begins with the collapse of the Western Roman Empire in the late 400s. Europe fractured into smaller kingdoms, Visigoths in Spain, Franks in Gaul, Saxons in Britain. With no central authority, trade collapsed, cities shrank, and literacy declined. This is what historians once called the Dark Ages. But it wasn't total darkness. Christianity spread rapidly, monasteries preserved ancient knowledge, and new kingdoms slowly formed. By the 8th century, the Carolingian Empire under Charlemagne briefly reunited much of Western Europe, blending Roman, Germanic, and Christian traditions. From the north came the Vikings, raiders, traders, and explorers who terrorized coasts but also founded towns and connected Europe to distant lands. They reached as far as North America, the Middle East, and even Constantinople. Meanwhile, society reorganized under feudalism. Kings granted land to nobles, nobles to knights, and peasants worked the soil at the bottom of the pyramid. Loyalty, land, and protection defined relationships. Castles rose across Europe, defending territories in an age of constant warfare. This was the golden age of medieval Europe. Populations grew, towns expanded, and universities emerged. Magnificent cathedrals like Notre Dame of Paris and Chartres reached for the heavens. But this was also the age of the Crusades, a series of wars launched from Western Europe to reclaim the Holy Land. For nearly 200 years, knights and kings marched eastward, clashing with Muslim powers. The Crusades reshaped trade, brought new ideas, and deepened cultural connections. Back home, England saw the Norman conquest of 1066, France grew powerful, and the Holy Roman Empire sought to dominate Central Europe. The Catholic Church stood at the center of it all, wielding immense spiritual and political power. But prosperity gave way to disaster. The 14th century brought famine, war, and plague. The 100 Years' War between England and France dragged on for over a century, filled with legendary figures like Joan of Arc. Meanwhile, the Black Death swept across Europe between 1347 and 1351, killing as much as 1/3 of the population. Entire villages vanished, economies collapsed, and faith in old institutions was shaken. Peasants revolted against feudal lords, demanding better conditions. The rigid order of medieval life was cracking. As the Middle Ages drew to a close, Europe began to transform. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 marked the end of the Byzantine Empire, but it also sent scholars and ideas westward, fueling the Renaissance. New technologies like the printing press spread knowledge faster than ever before. Explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama set out on voyages that would connect Europe to the entire globe. The medieval world of castles, knights, and feudal lords was fading. A new era, marked by science, exploration, and nation-states, was about to begin. The Middle Ages gave us more than myths of dragons and knights. They shaped the languages we speak, the borders of nations, the legal systems we follow, and even the universities we attend today. It was a time of hardship and wonder, faith and fear, war and creativity. 1,000 years where Europe transformed from a fractured post-Roman wilderness into the foundation of the modern world. So there you have it, 1,000 years of medieval Europe in just 2 hours of history, condensed into one story here today. From the fall of Rome to the dawn of the Renaissance, this was an era of struggle and survival, but also of brilliance and innovation. The Middle Ages remind us of something timeless. Even in the darkest of times, human beings build, dream, and push forward. And it's in those struggles that the roots of our modern world were born.